on the conference. I'm happy that you managed to put together yet another event, which is pushing forward the blockchain and crypto community in Serbia and globally.
Well, yeah. Oh, so sorry.
Right now, I'm speaking from our office in Sombor, and we have actually moved a large part of our activities to Serbia as well, and to Liberland directly as well, as we are putting together more and more boats to be able to move to Liberland. And those of you that don't know where Liberland is, we are actually located between Croatia and Serbia, 10 kilometers from Hungarian borders, on the island on the Danube River, which was unclaimed by anybody for more than 28 years until we came 5 years ago. So, if I may, Nicola, I will share my screen, and I will just go through the latest presentation or latest brochure that will be in Serbian as well, and it should be in Serbian in 2 weeks' time, and it will be in our representative in Belgrade as well, on Balkanska 2 available, and we might even throw some big, I would say, mid-size Christmas party in Belgrade for Liberland supporters, depending on the coronavirus. But we always do a Christmas party. Mostly it was done in park, and it was done for diplomatic community. And since the crazy lockdown around the world, we might just do it in Belgrade this time. So let me do this, and let me do this. If you can see my screen, it would be great.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay.
I will mute myself now.
There is this, it starts with this nice quote by the Ministry of Interior of Croatia, which is, of course, our, I would say, most frequent observer. They're watching us all the time, and what they said that the Liberland has reached a serious proportions, which is quite nice recognition from Croatian Foreign Ministry and from Ministry of Internal Affairs. And why we are doing Liberland, we are not any kind of separatist movement. We are not basing our national belief on anything else but liberty. We really believe that the more freedom we can deliver to our citizens, the better. And we also believe that the people that are into crypto and that are already quite free, they also deserve to have their own state, to have their own piece of land that they can govern. And we are doing our best to learn from history to set up the best possible government there is. And we started the country on 13th of April. That was the birthday of Thomas Jefferson, which was very important persona in the creation of the American Revolution and the whole independence. And I believe, we are basically recreating or invoking the spirit of American Revolution with what we are doing with Liberland. And another important person, and I believe it's also translated in Serbian, is Frederick Bastiat. Please check his book, The Law. This was something that inspired me to do what I'm doing today. And the matter of the fact is that we are bringing enormous amount of opportunities to the whole region, and especially if Liberland becomes developed, we know that we can boost Serbia's and Croatians' GDP by at least 15-17% in 10 years. So that would be a huge boost to the Croatian and Serbian economy. Imagine there is something like New Hong Kong, New Monaco on the borders of Croatia and Serbia, fully developed. And the amount of growth, and not just the growth from, I would say, construction, but also the amount of interest for financial businesses and other things that the freedom brings would be enormous in the whole region. And by the way, this is a Libek study. Some of you might know Libek. It's this Belgrade-based think tank that has put this together, and you can read the whole study if you click on this. By the way, this brochure in English is already available on our main website, liberland.org, if you would like to get back to it. And then there is a nice legal study about the legality of Liberland by Michigan Journal of International Law and by Chicago Journal of International Law. And it basically argues that we are already fulfilling all the criteria of the statehood. We do have territory, we do have population, we do have government, and we are managing our diplomatic relations with other countries as well. So, you know, some might argue that Liberland is just a virtual state, but we are actually, in fact, fulfilling all the Montevideo criteria. Our biggest challenge is, of course, the territory and control over it. If you come to Liberland, you might still encounter Croatian police, which actually illegally arrest Liberlanders inside of Liberland from time to time. But the good news is that it hasn't happened for the last 2 years. We had a number of encounters and it was always solved rather peacefully. So, you know, things are moving forward and that's also positive. And another information about Liberland, I would just remind you that our motto is live and let live, that Liberland is 7.2 square kilometers big, that we've got now some 600,000 people that applied for citizenship, including 8,000 people from Serbia. And there is now 240,000 people that we consider eligible for citizenship because they finished the application process. And this is the map. If you can see, this is Bezdan, there is Sombor, there is Osijek. Right now I'm actually here in Sombor in this area. We are 10 kilometers away from Hungarian borders. I think it's a perfect place for creation of new country. It was not claimed or occupied by anybody else. And this is how it looked when we came there the first time and stick the flag to the place. This is our cadastre map. And this is a little bit more information about the border dispute. It is true that Liberland is the only country that now holds Liberland in its cadastre. Croatia doesn't register this piece of land, and Serbia already stated that they don't mind creation of Liberland. It was not formed on the property of Serbia, or it was not formed on the territory, the sovereign territory of Serbia. That is actually nice give up of the claim to the place that was directly made to Liberland. And we are having a number of ideas how the territory could be developed, and we are quite happy that we have the best architects with us on board. I would say the leading architect is Patrick Schumacher. He's the director of Zaha Hadid. You know, they're building everything from airports in Beijing to high skyscrapers in Dubai or in New York, and they are really good at what they're doing. And it's great that from beginning they're supporting us. And right now they're helping us to organize yet another architectural competition. You know, you can join very easily. It's just design.ll.land, or this is the older address. So that's a way how you can help Liberland as well. If you know somebody from the architectural community, the competition starts in January and it ends in April. And if you become Liberland citizen, you of course get the citizenship certificate. You also now will get a regular passport. The diplomats are getting diplomatic passport. We have our e-residency program, which allows you to start Liberland companies. And there are a number of benefits now to Liberland companies, including the fact that we can get you an alternative to regular banking, so you can send in and out transfers from your cryptos into any bank account around the world for reasonable fees. And we also have alternative for accepting the credit cards on your website with your Liberland company. So there are a number of ways how you can actually start your offshore company in Liberland already. We do have a number of social events. This year it was a bit slower, I would say, because of Corona, but we also had a micro festival, Floating Man. Despite all the restrictions in Liberland, we didn't have any restrictions, so we took the people on the boats and moved them next to Liberland on these beautiful sandy beaches that we have there. So it is something that you might want to join, and I hope Nikolai will be able to join us for the 6th anniversary. It would be great to have you as a speaker there. Please note that. And we are refurbishing now the big boat on the left. It will be turned into hotel, and it will be placed next to Liberland. It will be able to host up to 100 people. at the same time, and we are right now doing our events on Liberty, which is this boat on the right side. It is our base for our operations. If you come to Apatin right now, it's based in Apatin, and Liberlanders are coming, even though it's winter. Still, we have 1 or 2 people coming a day now for the visit of Liberland from around the world. It's kind of cool. We have a guy from Tanzania, we have a person from Canada, we have a person from Turkey visiting these days. And this afternoon, actually in this office in Sombor, we have a gathering of supporters that are also going to get a lecture about utilizing cryptocurrencies in Serbia. And then we have a biking team here in Sombor. They are doing quite well. They organize yearly events, basically race between Osijek, Liberland, and Sombor, an international event. We have a basketball team. We have beautiful ladies that are representing us across the world on different beauty contests. So if you knew some beautiful lady that could represent Liberland, please let us know, because we are getting these invitations almost on a monthly basis. Not that we're running out of beautiful ladies, but of course they're always appreciated to send to these competitions. By the way, she was the second in the Miss Europe Continental, Kristina Dolničková. It was a very big event in Italy, and it also helps us quite a lot diplomatically to move things forward. And we have a lot of media. We have Liberland Press, we have Liberland Show by Adam Carswell, that's a weekly show. We have a weekly television, and there is a 24/7 radio, Liberland Radio. So there is quite a lot of media sources that you can use. And if you start your Liberland company, the one thing that you also get access to and you might enjoy having is that you could use the free trade zone in Serbia. And that free trade zone is actually one of the key things that we can offer to Liberland e-residents. Right now, you don't have to pay any VAT, you don't have to pay any customs, and I think it's pretty cool that Liberlanders can use this now in the collaboration, basically, with Serbian government. They are in a tax-free region, and they can actually come to Apatin, refurbish the goods, enjoy them inside of the free trade zone, and then they can send them forward and sell them, or do whatever they want with them, but they cannot leave the free trade zone that we are building these days. And then we have a government. That's my wife. She has been helping with the brochure lately, and she's quite active with organizing our social events. Then we have vice president, and we have actually 2 vice presidents. Both of them are in business. Pierre-Louis is more in banking. Boguslav Wozniak is more in the regular business. And then we have Secretary of State Tariq Abbasi and Minister of Foreign Affairs. Secretary of State is also representative of British Queen. That helps us quite a lot. And we have Minister of Interior, and that might be the most interesting part for you in this presentation, because he is in charge of putting all our governance systems on blockchain. So what he does is basically working now with a number of software companies to select the best solution that we can have. And the decision was made to utilize the EOS-IO technology to build both the governmental system of courts, our Congress, our Congressional Assembly, as well as Senate on blockchain to have completely transparent governance structure. And not just that it's on blockchain, we have actually selected the best elements of existing political systems to form a functional state. So just to give you some ideas, we took big part of American Constitution to have this Republican element. Then we took some elements of Swiss democracy, basically allowing people to veto the decisions by the government, basically making sure that the government doesn't go in the wrong direction. And then we also took this meritocracy concept. So the more taxes you pay, the stronger will be your vote in Liberland. And if we look into diplomacy, we have already got recognition, and we signed collaboration with the Republic of Somaliland. That's an interesting country in Africa. We actually got a couple more, but I can tell you which ones are those, because it is still, I would say, a bit time sensitive. So good thing is that Liberland, despite our obstacles and despite the fact that we are still having issues with the territory itself, are able to get international recognition. It's a strong sign that our diplomatic activity is successful. And we do have a Rotary Club. That's an interesting club, also based now more in Sombor than in Liberland, but it's good that it gets together the people that support Liberland under the Rotary Club flag. And there are a number of humanitarian activities. I'm quite happy that it took off very well without a governmental support. So we are basically providing humanitarian aid, helping other countries when some disasters happen. Now there is also some food assistance happening. There is water sanitation projects going on, number of projects globally that we are pushing together, especially with some crypto funds. I mean, we have, for example, Binance to deliver 1 million face masks during the coronavirus outbreak, and many other events. That's great. We are not sleeping on that level, and everybody says, you know, we are not charitable. We are all about money, and that's not true. Actually, we are doing a lot of activities in this arena. We have our Star of Merit for the most important support for Liberland. This is Steve Forbes, but maybe some of you know Nigel Farage or Congressman Ron Paul and many other important people that got this award already. We have our missions and offices all around the world. There are some 12 physical offices like the one I'm sitting at now. This is our representative office in Prague. This is our representative office in Brussels. So wherever you go, if you're a Liberland citizen, you just don't have a person as a representative, but you usually can also utilize the space of the Liberland embassy. And then, you know, there is 100 countries. Let me just mention a couple of people that are supporting Liberland. From this page, I would select Engin Rogmanenko, who is one of the biggest crypto speakers from Belarus. He's quite successful in promoting the freedom of transaction with cryptocurrencies across the world, but especially in the Russian-speaking world. Here, I would just note maybe Tomáš Slivník. He is one of the most prominent angel investors. He is the director of Cambridge Angels. So that's very good that we also are capturing wide spectrum of people that are representing Liberland and pushing the recognition. He is actually representing us on this small island of Guernsey, which is, you might not even know, but it's a sovereign state between France and Great Britain, which is also a very place. Here, let me tell you something more about our, let's say, Italian office. It's based in Vatican. It's run by Carmine Spinelli, who has an enormous network of business people in Italy. It's quite helpful because both on the side of relations with Italy as well as with Vatican, he has done a great job pushing things forward. Our representative in Monaco is one of the I would say prominent representative of multifamily office. So that's another great gentleman that represents us. Serbia, you know, we've got Daniel Debek. He has helped us a lot. He has been running our office in Belgrade. Now, due to coronavirus, I think we will have to find another office in Belgrade starting in January. So if you knew about some nice place where Liberland could be based, let us know. Especially, we will be happy to collaborate with somebody on the space for the next place for the embassy. I would really like to have something representative, but a bit smaller than what we've got now. There is place for like 35 people to sit in our current office, and of course, because of coronavirus, nobody really comes to office anymore. So I would rather have something smaller and more representative in some historical part of Belgrade. On this page, let me just mention maybe Richard Holson. He is also running one of the biggest insurance companies in in United States, and he is looking into solutions of running these insurance services on blockchain with us. So that's quite encouraging. Luis O'Connor, our representative to Panama, has started also a village there, Agrorismo. So if you decided to move to Panama, for example, then you can definitely live in Liberland village called Agrorismo. Jeff Berwick is organizing a great events around the world. Probably he's one of our strongest supporters in terms of getting new people on board. He's organizing this Anarcho-Pulco event in March this year. It's one of the biggest gatherings of like-minded people, and I would say also of Liberlanders in Mexico. Our office in United States, there is an enormous amount of people working. I don't even know all of them. It's a huge supportive group of people, and of course there is also 16,000 people who applied for citizenship from United States. So it is a lot of support that comes from America. South America, a great team of people. Asia, Middle East. I was just on call actually in the morning with the representatives of the biggest crypto exchange in Dubai to come up with some collaboration. Middle East, Africa. I would say Olivia, she's a great supporter because she knows personally all the presidents and prime ministers in Africa. So she can really open the doors and she's helping with a couple blockchain projects already that are done in collaboration with some central banks. That's another strong group of supporters in Africa. You can read all about these people in the brochure. I think I'm running a bit out of time. Thank you very much for listening. I wish I could tell you a little bit more about also the projects that we are doing now and I will stop my screen sharing, about the projects that we are doing now in Serbia. It is not just free trade zone, but we are also putting together a small village close to Liberland these days. So the project is very fresh, and we also trying to build a place for all our boats in Apatin in this area called Napredak. So we're working with the local municipality for basically building a new harbor because we cannot fit into existing harbors with our boats. We're also having a new very nice project with Liberland houseboats. So Liberlanders can buy a houseboat and they can anchor next to Liberland and live there. I think that's one of the important part of the settlement itself. So thank you very much, Nicola, again for letting me on to present some latest developments, and I'm looking forward to collaborate with the Serbian crypto community, and I really wish we could do a bit more on presenting cryptocurrencies to people around Sombor and Apatin. I just got an offer from the biggest local radio to have like a 3-minute kind of weather forecast for cryptocurrencies, 3 to 5 minutes, and it would be great if we could also promote the Serbian crypto community in these 3 to 5 minutes daily, probably like 10 times a day played, repeated over and over again. And I hope I will have more Serbians on board as well.
Me too. Thank you for being here. I actually have some questions. Also, audience is free to ask anything. You can actually ask in chat, so don't be shy. I have my passport right here, but didn't have the opportunity to use it. Did anything change when it comes to the passport? Is it just
the passports are used now? Of course, if we get to the stage of recognition in some country, or we are coming for diplomatic trips around the world, Liberlanders have to come with Liberland passports, right? So, and then they shouldn't be used in any other way. They are literally legitimation of our diplomatic corps. So, you should only use your passport, of course, when you are representing Liberland on some diplomatic mission. Mm-hmm. And I hope you will be able to join us for one of the diplomatic trips, might be now in Africa or in Central America.
I'd be glad to.
Awesome.
Also, what do we have some indication that Croatia will actually soften its approach on Liberland, because they're very strict to arrest anybody who comes
Well,
there?
I have to tell you, like the last 2 years were very peaceful in the sense that we never had anybody arrested. A lot of people visited Liberland, but they were not arrested anymore. They were usually physically removed from the territory and they were driven like 20, 30 kilometers away by police. That was one solution. Or they kind of made an agreement with Liberlanders to leave peacefully without the arrest. So there is a bit of an improvement on that side. But I think right now we still need year or two to get stronger and more ready for the settlement itself. And we also need to finish our governance structures. And to be honest with you, it's a big challenge to turn. I would like to turn at least 60, 70% of whatever we have in the constitution directly on blockchain. It's time for it. I know it's challenging, but it's, I think, one of the important tasks that Liberland has to do. We can prove that we can actually do this, that we can run fully transparent governance system. And say a good example for the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. What about this event for Liberland in Serbia? You mentioned that as well.
Yeah, I mean, today we have this meeting actually in 3 hours from now, at 3 o'clock. We have this meeting of supporters here in Sombor, and it's like 12, 15 people coming down, and we will make the decision, discuss a little bit what we can expect from coronavirus restrictions, and just make a decision on that. It would be nice to have, I would say, 30 to 50 people coming together for Christmas. And I hope that the coronavirus madness will be over in 2 weeks. So it would be a good time to do that.
We all miss live events. I mean, Serbia is in a semi-lockdown situation for months now, and I'm actually very how to say, so, not sorry, but like really want to go to some event where there was at least 20, 30 people to feel some energy. Everything online is just doing from home. I mean, it has its advantages, but I mean, the novelty has worn off a long time ago.
Yeah, me too. You know, and I'm not afraid. You know, I know that right now in the coronavirus is all around, but I just, to be honest with you, I consider it as another round of flu. It was not worse in Czech Republic, or it's very similar to the flu in 1995, where nobody cared about it at all. There were like 2 or 3 articles, and the whole thing lasted 3 weeks. There was a double mortality than usually in these 3 weeks. Yes, extra 7,000 to 9,000 people died in these 3 weeks, but it's true that they would most likely die anyway in the coming month. Yeah, that's the way it is. I think the destruction that we are creating through all these lockdowns is by degree worse than what the coronavirus is creating.
Of course. Okay, thanks for being with us today.